Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's Tennessee Tuesday. And this being the first Tuesday of the month of November, I want to welcome everybody here. Appreciate everybody coming on board. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to come on. As we're doing that, I want to bring on our special guest tonight. Our special guest is none other than Dr. Steve Murphree. I have worked with Dr. Murphree now for a number of years on the Sam Davis Memorial Association, which we're going to talk about a lot tonight. And he is also the education chairman for the Tennessee Division Sons of Confederate Veterans. Before we get started and talking to him, you know, there's something that we have to do. We have to play our disclaimer. Now, the views and opinions expressed on this broadcast, they're not those of the SCV, it's GEC, any division, any camp, any brigade, any subsidiaries whatsoever. The people who voice their opinion, they are the opinion of the person that is expressing their opinion. And Dr. Murphree, say hi to everybody.
Well, good evening. It's good to be with you all and participating in this show.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on board. Appreciate you doing this. I've known Dr. Murphree for some time. We're going to give it a couple of minutes and let everybody start to come on. We're going to let that scroll along the bottom. And now we're going to go to a few of the comments. Okay, we have Al Stidham from the Dr. J.B. Cowan Camp, 155 in Tullahoma. Elliot Jackson has joined us. Thank you, Elliot, for coming on board. And of course, none other than David Pope himself, Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman, which is on Friday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time. And David visiting us from over in Knoxville. And we got a fella coming in from all the way from the Alabama division. And that is Ryan Rogers. Ryan, thank you for coming in. He's with the DeKalb Rifles. I visited that camp several times. It is a fantastic camp. And then, of course, we have Floyd Harvey from the James Keller Camp 648 in Hot Springs, Arkansas. They hosted the national reunion a couple of years ago, and they did a fantastic job. And I want to thank them for all of the work that they did. And they made this old boy from Tennessee feel right at home. And I visited with them a couple of times. A great group of guys. Chuck Roydhouse. Robert H. Hattenkamp, 723. We're going to talk about some business y'all have coming up tonight. And then we have Steve Reed visiting us from the Battle of Shiloh camp. Heads camp 1454. Thank you for joining us, Steve. I can't help but say, talking about Steve and at the forestry internment and all of these videos, and he's got that beard, and you can pick Steve Reed out of anywhere. I thought I'd tell you this, Chuck. Steve, Chuck Roydhouse says hi. Do you want to say hi to Chuck Roydhouse?
Yes, I'd like to. It seems like Chuck Roadhouse is just about everywhere I go.
Yes, sir.
And it's a pleasure to see him at various events or see some posts that he makes on Facebook that relate to the Sam Davis home and other places too.
Yes, and Chuck Roydhouse is a great one. Been working with him some. He is a great guy, and you're right, he is everywhere. Then we have Rich Garcia. Have you ever heard of Rich Garcia? Gainsboro Invincible, 1685.
I believe I have. He just might be a member of the education committee at the Tennessee Division. Yeah.
He might just be a member of the education committee.
And he's also seems to be about everywhere.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Like Chuck Roydhouse is, yeah.
Yes, he is. He seems to be everywhere. And I believe he is first lieutenant commander of the Tennessee Division.
That is correct.
Yes, and we have had him on here before, and he's talked about everything that he's done with the Tejanos, and that's just brilliant. Thank y'all for joining with David Pope. David Pope has said, I'm going to click this on here. Let me click that on there. Yesterday was General Early's birthday. The Tennesseans of the Vaughn Brigade and Thomas's Legion served with Early's Army of the Valley District in the summer of fall of 64. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up and telling us about that, David. And happy belated birthday to Jubal Early. Yes. And David's still writing a book on Jubal Early, and I can't wait for that book to come out. It's going to be so well researched, so well documented. And Daniel Santiago, good evening. Johnny Jenkins from the General McBride camp in Springfield, Missouri. Thank you for joining us. And I hope I did say that correct. It is not Missouri, it is Missouri. You know, so Michael Workman of the Rod and Spears camp down in Summertown, good evening to you. And let's see, David Pope's going to continue to talk a little bit more about while Thomas's Legion was from North Carolina, several companies were formed in East Tennessee, and there were East Tennesseans scattered in virtually every company of the Legion. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Murphree, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Well, I'm glad to do that. I'm a native Tennessean. I was born in Hickman County in Centerville. My father's family's from that area around the Duck River, a place called Horseshoe Bend. And I try to go back there every year or two and clean up a cemetery or two where two different cemeteries where two of my ancestors are buried, and one of them actually I'm going to go back with Southern Cross and put on a cavalryman's grave. His name is Weatherspoon, and in a very remote place, but I have permission to be there and clean up. So I'm glad to see that many different divisions, different camps, and all are available or doing CERT training and doing cleanup like that. I have used some of the chemicals and other things. I'm still learning on graves like that. So I again, born in Hickman County and grew up in Bedford County where my father married my mother from Bedford County when she was a home extension agent in Centerville area, and moved all that back and bought a farm with my grandfather's help with a loan in Bedford County, and that's where my father still lives. He's 94 years old, and a pretty amazing fellow. Working there and taught me a whole lot of things. So I live in Murfreesboro now. I've lived here for about the last 35 years. I'm a graduate of Middle Tennessee State University, my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, both in biology. Then I went to Auburn University in Alabama for my PhD, and my training is mostly in entomology. So I study insects, and one of my presentations that I give the Speakers Bureau for the Tennessee Division is called "Insects and Disease in the Civil War," or in the war between the states. And I'll never forget that I was at UDC #1 one time, and I was the only man there. All the women were dressed to the nines, and they were in a fancy house over in West Nashville. And the lady that introduced me seemed overly nervous to me. And I found out why, because when she got up there, she had my title wrong. She said, "Dr. Murphy's from Belmont, and he's going to talk about sex in the Civil War." So that really, I turned red, and then I just went on, So anyway, I we'll come back to the Speakers Bureau and talk about that. But I'm a professor of biology at Belmont University. I've been there 35 years, and as Mr. Beauchers and I have talked about, I'm contemplating retirement in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great history. Yes, and the UDC one right there in Nashville. That's very good that you got to visit with them. Well done. Well done.
I should say also that I'm a descendant of 3 Confederate soldiers, and 2 from Hickman County and 1 from Bedford County on my mother's side. And then and from Bedford County, well, there was 1 Union soldier too, but we won't mention him tonight.
Well, and and that's the thing is, one of the things that happened when I was commander in chief was I went and visited with the SUVCW, the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, and I tell you, they were a great group of men. They really were. And you realize that when I went and I visited with them, and we called ours a reunion, they called theirs an encampment. I went to their encampment, and they brought me out to give a greeting during the business session. And I look out there and I go, "That man's in the SCV. That man's in the SCV." And I'm sitting there picking out all of these men that I've seen at national reunions. I mean, it's great to see them there and to see them support. And yes, please support your federal ancestor.
Historical organization, and again, if I could also join the Sons of the American Revolution, and I haven't yet, but many of us could do that.
Yes, sir. And I'm going through the paperwork. Well, excuse me, I said that incorrectly. I've already gone through the paperwork, and my paperwork has been submitted. It takes anywhere from 8 months to a year, because when you get your paperwork, they have to verify everything. And there has to be records of every step along the way. And I submitted my paperwork, and it come back. And because they could not tie my 7th and 8th generations together, because there was no legal document, or there was nothing that said that this was the son. There was nothing that said that. So I went in and submitted the paperwork for another ancestor. And that one, so far they're saying that looks very good, but it's still going to take 3 or 4 months to get it approved. So if you are considering joining the Sons of the American Revolution, start your paperwork now.
Right, and be patient. That sounds like they're very thorough, and they ought to be. That's good.
Oh, yes, sir. And what it is to keep the integrity of their membership database, because once that is there, okay, Dr. Murphree, you join, and all your descendants have to do is to prove their genealogy to you. And all they got to do is go in there and fill out your SAR number, and then prove their genealogy back to you, because the really hard stuff has already been done. And that's what I ended up doing, but I still had to go back 5 generations to
Right.
be able to do that. Excuse me, 4 generations to do that.
Well, as you know, I'm a member of Murfreesboro Camp 33. I'm the current
Mhm.
chaplain, and I've served in other positions. But we have at least 2 active SAR members in our camp, and they go to the Murfreesboro chapter SAR meetings.
Yes. And we have had a couple more people come on board, and this man we have to say hi to, Mr. Tom Wood. Good evening, all from Lebanon, Tennessee, in the Hatton Camp. Chuck Roydhouse is here, Mr. Tom, and we're going to be talking about y'all here in just a little bit. And David Pope pops on here and says, I can join every one of those ancestral organizations. Generally, with someone from East Tennessee, that is true. So in fact, I read an article about Parson Brownlow today, so, and then we have Jeff Futhy, another gentleman who's joining us from Missouri, the General and Sterling Price Camp 145 out of St. Louis, Missouri. Yes, sir. On guard. Great to see you again, Jeff. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the show's sponsors. Uh, as you know, this is all made possible. In fact, I'm working tonight with new equipment. I've got a new camera. I still don't think it's set up correctly because I still have to find my eye to it. And it's got lights and all that stuff on it because everybody said it was too dark. So, we have to have show sponsors for all of this. And that really starts with the Patreon level and our Patreon members. And we have them scrolling along the bottom. We have several different tiers of that, and you can go to Patreon and go to SEV_chat, and you can look at all of the different levels that you are able to join. One of the levels, and I think it's $2.50 a month, and that's Feed a Moose level. Of course, that has to do with how many times have we heard Harrison Dawes say, I'm just a poor, broke college student. So they come up with that and they named it the Feed a Moose level. And then we have there's a $10 a month level, then there's a $30 a month level, and that's the merchandise level. And that's where you start to get something from them. After you've been a member for 3 months, you'll start receiving stuff from them. And then you have the $80 a month, and you actually become a sponsor of the show. And we're going to go into a commercial break here in a little while, but I want to go ahead and talk to you about, you can join this. You can see it scrolling along the bottom. And Chris Cummins, he is a sponsor. He pays the $80 a month, and he is a sponsor on the show. And we'll talk about him a little bit later as we get into the sponsors. But at this point in time, we want to remind everybody about the other shows that we have on the SCV Chat Network. We have Monday night, which is SCV Chat. That's the flagship show, and it starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. That was last night. If you saw it last night, they had a great program. They had Dr. Samuel Mitchell on last night, and they were, well, go back and watch the show. It's having to do with talking about Bill O'Reilly's book and a chapter he has in there concerning Nathan Bedford Forrest. I want to ask you to go back and watch last night's show. It was a very good show. And then on Tuesday nights, you have Tennessee Tuesday. And Tennessee Tuesday, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram. So you can find us on all of those different platforms, and we encourage you to shop around and find us, but watch us on your favorite platform. John Blankenship and I normally host this together. John could not be here tonight. As you know, it's November 4th, first Tuesday, which means it's an election in a lot of places. And John, being a radio guy, he is having to cover the election that is going on in Humboldt. So he is with that. And that's the reason why you have me here. Sorry, folks. But normally you'll have John and I here on here. And this is actually our 9th episode. This is 9th episode of our first season. And I want to thank everybody who has come in so far. and watches us. And on Wednesday night, there's Look Around Florida with the Florida Man, 7 p.m. Central Time. And on Thursday nights, on the first Thursday night is Commander's Comments. That is when the Commander in Chief of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, that's Mr. Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, he will come on and he'll have people come on with him, and they will talk about everything that's going on. This is an opportunity to hear directly from the Commander in Chief, and that is always a great program to see. He has Paul Graham, which is Chief of Heritage Operations, on there. And Harrison will be on that because Harrison's Deputy Chief of Heritage Operations. He'll be on there. On the other Thursday nights, the second through the fourth Thursday nights, unless there's a fifth Thursday night. Not generally. I don't think that happens very often. But we have Commander's Comments. That's also at 7 p.m. Central Time. And on Friday night, we have Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman. You have seen David Pope on here talking about that. And David might even pop in there in the comments and talk about what he's going to be talking about on Friday night. Okay. He's actually giving me advice on my lighting. Yeah. So David, yes, if you want to chime in and put in the comments what you're talking about on, okay, he has already. Season 4, episode 20 will be Sons of Confederate Veterans, Descendants of Confederate Veterans in the U.S. Military. And David, are you going live this coming Friday night? Put it on there. Let us know for sure, but that's 7 o'clock Central Time. Okay. Well, he's popped something else. 8 p.m. Jubal Early Standard Time in the Friends group. Jubal Early Time must be Eastern Time. Thank you for that. And it is this Friday. Thank you for chiming in, Mr. David. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about things going on across the great state of Tennessee? Let me start pulling some of these up. So many of us were at the national reunion, and our Commander-in-Chief started this, and I thought this was a great thing when he said this: if they know, we will grow. As you know, we've been saying for a long time that the Sons of Confederate Veterans is one of the best kept secrets in the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and that is, and it's true. We are one of the best kept secrets that's out there. And if they know about us, people will start to come join our organization and become involved. As you know, if you were at the national reunion, we know our membership has dropped below 25,000. If you'll go back to when Michael Givens was Commander-in-Chief, we got up to 33,000, and now we're under 25,000. Now we know that we have lost a lot because of the age of our membership, but that also means that we have not been recruiting and we're bringing people in. So we need more people to know about us, because I still hear when I go in somewhere and somebody will see a car tag, and we will talk about that in a little bit. In fact, Dr. Murphree, if you want to, you can segue into that.
Sure, I'd be glad to. I think it was James Patterson who told me how to do this in the state of Tennessee, to go in and get a plate set up this way. And I'm not unique in this. People have other 5-letter things on their license plate. That's, of course, it's an SCV plate, but there are 3 generations between me and 3 Confederate soldiers. And so that's, I hope that people, as I drive up and down I-24 every day, that might dawn on them that I'm a proud descendant of Confederate soldiers.
Yeah. Well, and I've got one of those on my vehicles, and every now and then somebody will say, "Sons of Confederate Veterans, watch that. What's that?" So Commander Kennedy coming out with "If they know, we will grow." I think that was a very good thing to do, and I like it. We just need more people to know about us. because I get that quite often, to where, what's the Sons of Confederate Veterans? Who's the Sons of Confederate Veterans? What do you do? What do you stand for? So now we'll get into some business concerning the Hatton Camp. Yes, the Robert H. Hatton Camp. This is for you, Mr. Chuck House, and for you, Mr. Tom Wood. Y'all have 2 turkey shoots coming up, November 15th and 16th. And on Saturday, it is from 8 until 12. And on Sunday, it's from 1 to 4. And then on December the 6th, they have turkey shoot as well. It's at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. You'll be shooting for turkey, country ham, bacon, and they'll have money rounds. Go to Facebook, look up the Hatton Camp SCV, and come to a turkey shoot. The Hatton Camp's always a very busy camp, and that's what I like about them. They're a very, very busy camp. Now we're going to skip into some Sam Davis business. And Dr. Murphree, would you like to talk about this?
Sure. Our annual Sam Davis Memorial Day will be on Saturday, November 22nd. It'll begin at 2 in the afternoon with a presentation in the theater area of the Visitor Center, and it will be James Turner will speak on the political climate in Tennessee during, when Sam was active in his unit and Coleman Scout. And so following that, there will be a service at the family cemetery at Sam's grave. Mr. Jason Boshears himself will be speaking there again. And we'll have an honor guard, color guard there. We encourage people to come in advance of that. Come a little earlier than 2 o'clock, for example, and find out what you need to do to participate in that. So it's always a solemn occurrence. I remember one time we had a reenactor cavalry group, and they brought in a riderless horse with the boots turned backwards, and I'll just say that most everybody teared up when they brought that into the cemetery that day.
Oh yes, you're correct, and I remember that very well. Yes. Then there was the time that we started from the back porch, and we brought a coffin all the way down for the service, and that was something else as well. Yes. This is a great occasion. Come on out, visit the property. You'll be able to go into the museum. The home is going to be open for tours. Is that correct, Dr. Murphree?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I will double check, but I'm 90% sure.
Okay. Yes, sir. And just, come on out and come early and stay all day. And that's always a great event. Sam was captured on the 20th, and during the 22nd, he was being interrogated. And then, of course, he was executed on Friday, the 27th, November 27th.
That's correct.
So this is, you'll get to see the house in mourning. It's in mourning, I think, the entire month of November. So come on and visit and see Sam. You can see where he tied his horse up, the rocks there where he tied his horse. And then we'll be there at the gravesite. And we'll be talking about something a little later where we had a cleaning and a work day out there. And the obelisk now looks fantastic. We had a cleaning day on that. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. We'll get on to some more events. We had the Champ Ferguson Standing Stone Camp 2014, the 204th birthday celebration of Captain Champ Ferguson. Now, that's going to be at the France Cemetery in White County, Tennessee. And the date of that, November 29th, 2025 at 10 a.m. So that's another opportunity for you to come on out. Then we have the Pea Ridge reenactment, December 6th and 7th, 2025 at 1717 Buzzard Glory Road. You've got to love the name of that. Buzzard Glory Road in Washburn, Missouri. And the admission is $10. Children 16 and under are free. Starts every day at 9 a.m. Camps open at 9, battles at 2 on Sunday. Church services at 10, and the battle opens at 1. and that is in Washburn, Missouri, 8.5 miles north of the Pea Ridge Junior High School. Okay. And then we have the Bradford Rose SCV camp. They have working with the Sam Davis United Daughters of the Confederacy. They're having their Christmas party on December the 13th at noon. They have a wreath ceremony. Food will follow. Bring a covered dish or dessert, and that is at the Longstreet Museum. Make sure that you make plans to go do that and go see the museum. They have done a tremendous amount of work there, the Bradford Rose Camp and the Sam Davis UDC. And they're in the process of putting up a monument there, and don't know where exactly they are. We had Jordy Barnett on the program a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about that. I know it's going to be up because they're going to be hosting the Tennessee Division reunion, and that is April 17th and 18th in Morristown. And I know the plan is to have the monument ready to go by then. So that is going to be a monument dedication tied into the Tennessee Division reunion. That is going to be a don't miss event. So make plans on that. And then the 161st anniversary of the Battle of Kingsport, December 13th. That's the thing. That's two events right there on December 13th. That's at 10 a.m. Riverfront Park, 3193 Netherland Inn Road in Kingsport. The Colonel John Singleton Mosby camp out of Kingsport, Tennessee, camp number 1409. They'll be hosting that event. So if you like reenactments, that's a reenactment for you to go to. Dr. Murphree, would you like to talk about this?
Sure. We have an excellent staff at the Sam Davis home, two full-time and three part-time staff, side interpreters, tour guides. But this one will be led by John Lamb, who's our curator, and he has done this before. He does an excellent job with it. Christmas in the 1860s was very different from the way we celebrate Christmas these days, and really there's a lot of good information about that. This is a tour that takes place. It's adults only, and the theme, of course, it's easy now that we've gone back to standard time for the darkness. Yes. But that's the idea, is that it's a later kind of thing after dark, and there's a lot of different things they had prior to Halloween and all too. But this is a really good one. I hear good reviews about it.
Yes.
And so you can see the time. It's on December the 6th. It's a pretty popular date, but at 7 p.m. At the Sam Davis home, and that's 1399 Sam Davis Road, Smyrna, Tennessee 37167.
There you go. And you could go to the Hatton Camp that morning. They're having a turkey shoot on December 6th. And when the turkey shoot is over with, you can come to the Sam Davis home that evening.
That's great.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And a little more national news. The National Confederate Museum is now open Monday through Friday. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Let's back up a little bit. We're open on Saturdays now. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can go to www.theconfederatemuseum.com, or you can call to confirm the hours. But it's the National Confederate Museum is now open on Saturdays. That is something that has been talked about for quite some time. Some people have been wanting that, and it needed to happen, and it has happened. Okay. Now, we know when we start in January, we're going to have Lee Jacksons. So if anybody has any of the Lee Jacksons coming up, if you will go ahead and if you will either put them in the comments and we'll talk about them, or we'll pop up an email address here near the end and you'll be able to send us that information. If you've got a flyer, you can send it to us. The email address is scvyouth@gmail.com. I'll send that, put that up in a little bit. and remind everybody about that. Send us and we can talk about your Lee Jackson banquets. And there's a few of them that's coming up. This is the Jeffrey Forest Brigade. They're hosting one Saturday, January 31st at 6 p.m. at the Mount Zion Methodist Church in Union City, Tennessee. And there's a little more about it. I am their speaker. The Auto French Straw Camp is the camp that is hosting it. And they'll be having registrations for that coming up shortly. Then the Longstreet Zollicoffer Camp 87 is going to have their 33rd annual Lee Jackson Day banquet. It's going to be held at the Jubilee Banquet Hall on February the 7th. Notice the date, February 7th, 2026 in Knoxville. And the Commander-in-Chief, Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, is going to be the keynote speaker. This is, and I have been to this event. I've spoken at it. The Lee Jackson, and when they say they have 100 people, there's 100 people there. It is a great event. It is a great event. And I believe we already have one. Well, this is talking about the National Reunion. The SCV National Reunion going to be held in Lexington, Kentucky. You can go and you can book your hotel rooms. It is July 15th through the 16th. You can go to www.131scv.org. This is our 131st annual reunion of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Dr. Murphree, would you like to add anything before we take a commercial break?
Well, I will just quickly, since you're talking about some 2026 dates, we have two other things going on, events at the Sam Davis home. One will be the second annual Storytelling Festival. I believe, Jason, you were there, and I told a story about a snake and others, but that will be on June 27th. I don't think it's on our upcoming events on the website, but it will be as we get into the new year. So June 27th, it will be held during the day. That'll be a Saturday. But before that, on April 24th, we're going to have a hive to table dinner. We'll get into some more things. I'm the beekeeper at the site, and we've got some Confederate leaning honeybees on site. And so harvest the honey there and sell it in our gift shop, but also we'll have a special dinner using honey for many of the entrees and other things as a fundraiser. So that'll be on April the 24th, 2026.
Wow. Okay. And scrolling along the bottom, you'll see the Sam Davis home. You can go and visit that website. They do a very good job on keeping the website updated. I'm sure this information will be out there before done, but go there and see everything that's going on at the Sam Davis home. And
up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a place that says support. If you want to click on that, you can become a member at several different levels. You can also donate if you want to make a one-time donation. We're very much in need of those funds for the operating budget. And a lot of people think the state of Tennessee funds everything we do. They do not. So Jason knows because he serves as treasurer right now of the Sam Davis Memorial Association.
Yes, and we actually probably need to post on there that people can join and support the Sam Davis home. And that is, I'm on the membership committee as well. And I can tell you, membership is critical in the organization, just like it is for the Sons of Confederate Veterans, the Lions Club, the Masons. All of this is dependent upon membership. So we'll post on there. While we're here in a little bit, I'll see if I can download that and put that up, and people can see about joining to becoming a member of the Sam Davis home. Yes, and that it really does help. It really does. I spoke to you earlier. Make sure that you share this episode, and if you have anything you want to send us, the email address is scrolling along the bottom. It is scvyouth@gmail.com. And then don't forget to join them on Thursday night for Commander's Comments. So just wanted to bring that up, scvyouth@gmail.com. You have anything that's going on, send us that information. Email it to us. Put the names of the people that's in the pictures and the events, the dates, the time, and let us know everything that is going on with that. Want to thank our sponsors. We're going to take us a little bit of a Pop-Tart break here for just a moment. I want to thank our Patreon members, the people that are making this show happen, sponsoring this. Thank you for that. You can see them scrolling along the bottom. And this commercial break is brought to us by SCV Chat. And want to thank Dr. Chris Cummins. If you watch this shows, you have heard Harrison. Everybody calls him Moose. You hear him come on there and he asks, have you fallen off of a fence lately? Well, that's because he's fallen off a fence lately. Have you stuck something in your eye? That's because he stuck something in his eye. But when you do that, Chris Cummins, he was on my staff when I was commander-in-chief, and I worked with Chris, and he's a very good man. And I'm happy to know that he is doing in this, and go visit him. If you have any kind of issues, contact him. We want to thank him for being a sponsor on the show. We do appreciate it. Dr. Murphree, we're going to take us about a 2-minute commercial break here, and then we'll come back and the show is yours.
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
Wow, didn't mean to click it again. Sorry about that. I want to thank Dr. Murphree for coming on. Welcome back to Tennessee Tuesday. This is the first Tuesday of November the 4th, 2025. And our guest tonight is none other than Dr. Steve Murphree. Appreciate everybody watching. Dr. Murphree, sir, what would you like to talk about?
Well, I'm mostly going to talk about the Sam Davis home because it's near and dear to my heart, as it is for yours, I know too, and others. But having seen that excellent advertisement there for the Confederate Museum and such, I was reminded of something. For many years, I would walk from the Belmont University campus over to Vanderbilt to do a literature search because I do a newsletter twice a year. It's an entomology thing. It's a bug thing. But anyway, I would walk by Confederate Memorial Hall, and I was proud to see it there. And of course, as you know, ultimately they raised like $11,000 to have that veneer taken off of the hall. And where is it now? Of course, it's displayed proudly at the historic Elm Springs Confederate Museum as an example of what lengths people will go to. So every time I walk past that, I don't get up there that much, but I was up there a couple of weeks ago. I still whistle Dixie as loud as I can when I walk by Confederate Memorial Hall. And I wrote a letter or two to the Tennessean newspaper that they published about it, and about how crazy that was and all. But everybody, I'm sure, is very familiar with it. But anyway, I'm very passionate about my Confederate ancestors, and I became a member of Camp 33, Murfreesboro Camp 33, way back about 1992. It was an old biology professor of mine who was commander at that time, Dr. Clay Chandler, who got me into it. And I was very glad that he did, because I've been involved with that camp for many years. You'll see some pictures of some of the camp members in a minute here, but it's some of the things that we do. We are not, by the way, holding a turkey shoot this year, so Hatton Camp, be warned. I may come up there with my special shotgun and see if I can't win some meat at your turkey shoot this time. We hope to bring our turkey shoot back next year. Anyway, the James Patterson, most people will be familiar with his name, was who got me interested in the Sam Davis Home and becoming a director. We're kind of unique in that we've got a board of directors, which is a larger group, and then we have a board of trustees that is appointed by the current governor of the state of Tennessee. And we both have functions. We meet together, and we never argue. we have a common goal of supporting a historic site that has a lot of moving parts. We had 168 acres, and unfortunately, we had to sell 4 of them within the last year and a half, and that money's been invested, and it took a lot of doing to do that. We had to go before the Tennessee Historical Commission, and that almost didn't make it, but it did. And so we plan to never sell any more of our land. It's a unique historic site because it's still a farm also. It's got pretty good acreage for cropland, and we work with a couple different farmers, a hay farmer and a row crop farmer, to have property there. We hope to eventually have some cotton back as we used to do. We don't currently have cotton, but we always have needs. We've got a tractor there that we finally got repaired for ghost tours last month. It's a Case International tractor we're proud to have as a donation. It does not have and here's a picture of ghost tour. Some of the crew that came there, you'll recognize. I told you, Chuck Roadhouse is everywhere. There he is. And he's standing right next to some people that we know very well, Bruce Gibson, and who is bloody because he's the surgeon, as a part of the first part of Ghost Tours, as a hayride that I try to coordinate, and you'll see our second lieutenant commander there, Sean Hill, as well as some other folks who work with us. We were really proud this time to have 2 young men who came. One of them a senior in high school, one of them just maybe college level, and one of them portrayed a Yankee, by the way, and did an excellent job doing that as a part of the first part of Ghost Tours. So anyway, we have a lot of needs. That tractor that we used, it doesn't have a 3-point hitch, and so I'm in the market to try to find one off a junk tractor somewhere and get it on there. We need to plow part of a field so we can plant sunflowers again. Because sunflower, when we did that in the year 2020, August of 2020, everything worked right, and we actually had a lot of money that came in. We shared that money with a worthy cause in Nashville. I think it was I can't quite call it. It's a organization to leave. It's Second Harvest Food Bank. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we hope to do that again on at least a limited scale, and there's lots of work to be out there too. Jason, I've got a picture of a work day that we held for the Tennessee Division, but we had people from a number of camps and brigades that came. That was held on August 30th. It was kind of a hot day, but at least we had good weather, and we did a number of things there. We worked on some of those picnic benches, and that work is still not finished. If anybody wants to contact me and meet me over there on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. We need to finish repairing some picnic tables that are used quite often on that site. Back in the background there is the office where our Jenny Lamb, our director, and John Lamb, our curator, her husband, work each week. And so we have some other projects too. That was the same day that people did a professional job, as Jason mentioned, cleaning the Sam Davis obelisk in the cemetery. It looks really great, and it'll look that way when we go for the memorial service coming up later this month. So there's always tree work to do. I mentioned donations are much appreciated, and I just was in touch with our main arborist yesterday, who's done a good job out there. I asked him to trim a dead limb off the Sam Davis white oak, the one by the stone that Jason mentioned before, where Sam tied up his horse, and it's still got the limb on. It's a little higher and bigger than it was in the 1860s, but it's still there where he tied his horse. And some people I know of that can remember going there as a school field trip, and one of the tour guides will let them reach them up there and let them hold on and hang on that limb where Sam tied his horse when he came home and got that Union overcoat that his mother had dyed with walnut hulls, so he'd have something warm to wear as he rode his horse around and risked his life, really, and then later gave his life unconditionally to protect his friends.
Yes.
So we tell kids, we don't tell them all the gore about that, what happened to him and how he died, so much as we tell him that the lesson we learn from him is to stand up by your friends when your friends need you and everything. So we do appreciate that witness that Sam Davis has that lives with us today. I was mentioning our arborist and talking to him. We have 2 trees that have died right at the beginning of the teardrop, where the drive divides off and goes 2 different directions. And one's a big sycamore tree, one's a big ash tree. The ash trees are all dying because of an insect pest right now.
Yeah.
And so the quote, and it was a very fair quote, was $8,000 to remove those trees and store them on our property, parts of them and such, so the brush could be moved. And we can't afford that right now. And so we're going back to them with, well, can you trim the limbs that might fall on our road? And so he's going to get back to me with a quote on that. We try to do some of the other stuff. I grew up on a farm. I've got a chainsaw. I get hazardous with it sometimes. I got a little cut on my knee from something I did at my house back earlier this summer. I wasn't careful enough, but we try our best to do what we can with our trees on the site when big limbs fall and other trees die and need to come down, so they're not a hazard to people who visit our site. So again, we appreciate anybody who can come and help us, and some of us are getting on up in age, and we appreciate people who are a little younger, men and women, who can come and help us maybe climb a tree every now and then and help out removing a limb or something like that. There's always something to do. Jason would echo that. Always some work to be done at our site. We have a lot of the funds from the land sale that have been invested, and we're going to be getting some of the funds from that. We have a committee that's working on that. Jason's on it, so that we can spend some of that money very wisely to repair some of our structures that are in bad need of repair. Our director, Jenny Lamb, has been very successful the last couple of years in getting I'll call it the State Museum grant, to mostly work on the historic house and its preservation. Some new windows. They're going to be working on the gutter system and a number of things. Ultimately, they're going to paint it. And, we have a color of paint called Sam Davis White, but we actually had a paint expert that's worked on the Belmont Mansion and other places, and took samples of the paint through the years. And there are several layers of paint on the Sam Davis home. And so if we go back to an original color, it may not be Sam Davis White anymore. It might be some other color, like some shade of pink, or who knows. But we we'll go back to something that we know was a paint color used when the Davis family lived in that historic structure.
Yes.
So there are a number of things that we work on. Those of us who have abilities in some areas, we come in and do other things. For example, being an entomologist, I've done some consulting work through the years with the Centricon system, which has been used. And you can see a slide of one of the stations I have in the ground there with a bait tube that's been partially consumed by termites. So this is the system that I got the company that I work for, which is now called Corteva Agriscience, used to be Dow Agrisciences, to donate stations to go around the historic house and many of the other structures at the site. I always try to check those and replace them around Earth Day every April, and get those serviced and checked and make sure that the termites are gradually being killed by this bait. It's not an insecticide, but it kills the colony and it keeps them from getting to our historic house and doing damage to it and other structures that are historic on the site. So everybody has something that they do. One of our trustees is one who donated our case tractor that we use quite often, and a bush hog that goes with it, that we keep on site, and others have come and volunteered their time, and unfortunately some of them have been there before, passed away during COVID. James Forbes, many people remember him, was very loyal to the site and brought his electric company bucket truck up there and cleaned the north facing boards of the historic house. We can't pressure wash them because it would damage the wood inside. So he got up there and got all that algae off, and that's a perennial thing. We always need to get something a little higher to get up there to clean that off and make it look good. And then of course people who come and clean the family cemetery and that sort of thing too. We have many different needs on the site, and we do appreciate folks who will come and donate their time or sometimes funds on site to support what we do. And so there, you can go to our website and see that you see displayed there and see a number of upcoming things that we've already done are still listed under events, and we just 2 weeks after ghost tours, a case tractor and wagon got used one at a time, or trailer. We have a program that's very popular called Toddler Tuesdays, and so they're on Tuesdays just like this program, on a monthly basis, and they had one about a harvest festival kind of theme. And so my good friend, who is the helped me repair the case tractor and is also our hay farmer, was there to drive those little kids around, and that just excites them and all. I've done it before too when I can, just to see how excited they are to give them a trip around our campus there. And of course they have pumpkins out and all that, so they learn. And of course there's the beekeeping that goes on out there too. We have a historic connection to another museum. The Oakland's Historic House Museum in Murfreesboro is a good place to visit. And I meant to mention a while ago that when I was an elementary kid or a middle school kid, I went to a high school in northern Bedford County called Community School. They just had their 100th anniversary. 1925 to 2025 was just this past Sunday. And anyway, I got to go on a few field trips, but I remember going to the Stones River National Battlefield, maybe Oakland's, but I didn't get to go to the Sam Davis home. I often wonder how different I would have felt, or if I would have gotten more supportive earlier had I done that as a middle school student. Anyway, I mentioned the Oakland's Historic House Museum in Murfreesboro because they have a hive of bees on the second floor behind one of their windows, that brick building, and it swarms almost every spring, almost every March or April, Sometimes it swarms 2 or 3 times. And I'm a beekeeper, and so by the way, is the director of the Sam Davis Home, Jenny Lamb. So I go catch those swarms, and I bring them with that historic connection to the Sam Davis Home and set them up. And so you can see this first time I ever did this, I took a table and some quarts of honey to the Rutherford County Farmers Market and set that up and sold just about all quarts. I even sold one to a priest and a nun from a Catholic church there in Murfreesboro that day. It was neat to get to meet them and talk to them. So and of course, I sell our honey at the Forest Boyhood Home at the reunion each June as well, and as well as put out materials like there's a History After Dark advertisement and some other things there, and ways to join and ways to get on an email list to find out about future events coming up at the Sam Davis Home. It's a plantation, it's a museum, it's both. We say plantation, it really was a very important working farm. I wouldn't say it was at plantation level, although of course they had enslaved people there working with them, but the Sam Davis and his family, they went out there and they rolled up their sleeves and worked with them. So that's why we call it a farm. And it was much larger than it is today. Of course, we know the original acreage and such, but we're just privileged that we still have that acreage there so we can interpret agriculture.
Yes.
And we have some old machinery there and such that we would like to get out and interpret in a better way at some point. But we have a barn that's about to fall in, the white barn, that has some things stored in it for now, including an old cotton gin that we'd like to get out and put in a better place eventually. So on down the road, we hope to be able to do some things. So yeah, I put honey in hot tea. I didn't know how to drink hot tea till I went to England once, and I kind of got hooked on it. And so I use honey in coffee, honey in hot tea, and it's just a really good natural sweetener. And our honey is mostly white clover honey, although we have some big tulip poplars on the site. Then part of that tree nectar goes into that honey too, gives it kind of a unique taste, I think. And so we have the Smyrna Airport flyway comes right over our site, and some of you'll know that several years ago now, not that many years ago, there was a crash, unfortunately a crash of the Blue Angels there. Captain Jeff Coos lost his life there as he was practicing for the Smyrna Air Show, and we have a memorial bench that the Sam Davis Memorial Association paid for that's right there at the crash site. And of course, there is I think it's an F-14 jet or F-16 over there with us at a nearby site, not on our property, that memorializes Captain Coos. When I was interviewed about Captain Coos and the event by local media, I told them we're in the habit of honoring heroes, and we honored Sam Davis a long time, and we also honor Captain Coos, who was a Navy Marine Corps pilot and had a lot of experience with that, but unfortunately lost his life. So, by the way, there's a big sycamore tree by that we need to take down right now. We don't want it to fall on that bench where we memorialize a second hero on our site.
Yes.
We encourage people to come and take a look at our site, tour the site. We have excellent site interpreters. Some of them even tell me they get a tip for they do such a good job. Some of them kind of shy about that, but they do an excellent job interpreting the historic house, this family cemetery, what we call Slave Cabin Row. Those slave cabins are not historic to the site, but they were brought from another site. They're a period, and they are used in the interpretation as well. We work on those too. We've repaired doors and windows and other areas there. We try to be as period historic as we can. If we have window panes that are broken by jets with sonic booms at the air show every summer, we put historic glass in place of the panes that are broken. And if you know what that looks like, glass actually flows a little bit over time. So it looks a little wavy when you put that in there, So anyway, we have excellent staff at the Sam Davis home. They're very good at researching the history of the site and are always finding new things. We have descendants of Sam Davis, and not direct descendants of his, of course, since he never married, but of his brothers and sisters and such. And there's a big contingent of them in Florida, and they had a reunion at our site a couple years ago. And we were really proud to have them there that day. They brought artifacts with them, shared photos and other things. So there's a big tradition there, and we'd like for everybody else to see it if you haven't been, or if you haven't been in some time, to come to the site and just experience it. When you drive, every time I drive down that road in my car or my old pickup truck, it just has a different feel to it. You feel that you're moving back in history. There's even a big walnut tree on the site that's kind of grown together funny, and there's a hole through it. It'll eventually heal up, but sometimes we take kids down there on summer camp or whatever, and we'll put them up on a ladder and say, look through there, or we'll actually let them work their way through that, almost like it's a time portal for them to experience the past at our site. So again, I'm just privileged to be able to work there and work with some fine people like Jason Boshears and others who are directors and trustees at the site, and show strong support. But we need more support. So we again humbly ask that people join at a membership level. We have an annual membership meeting each summer, usually in June. The last few times it's been a brunch that's worked out pretty well, and we're glad to have people come. We have elections in many years of officers for the directors and new directors coming on board. So, Jason, I've probably talked too long, but I just wanted to some things I had on my mind that I wanted to share.
Oh, no, sir. You gave some fantastic information, and I thank you for doing that. The Sam Davis home it really is a special place, and to go inside the home, and it is still very, very original. And I would encourage anybody, anytime you're in Middle Tennessee, go to the Sam Davis home. Now we have a few other things that we have pictures for, and I'll pop this one up. Yes,
and this shows we had some funding really from when Murphree Camp 33 hosted the 2012 National SCV reunion in Murfreesboro. Some of those funds were used to build this memorial for Forrest Murfreesboro raid. And so each year, very close to July 13th, we go out there and we have a service, and we lay down roses for each of the men who died during that raid that were under the command of then Colonel Forrest, who later, of course, moved up in rank, as we all well know. But this is at one side. That's at the old city cemetery. James Patterson brought that flag. You've seen that flag before, I bet. National flag to display that day. It's an annual event, and we get that announced through our Tennessee Division website, and we encourage people to come. It used to be that we had a luncheon at the Oakland's Historic House Museum. We called it the Old Bedford Sweet Black-Eyed Peas and Sweet Potato get together, and we really what we do now, we go to a local restaurant that has a buffet, and they always have sweet potatoes and black-eyed peas there. So we make sure that we add those to our plate after we have this memorial service.
Yes, sir. And we have another picture here. Well, we have a couple of more. This is another with you speaking.
Yes. This is at Confederate Circle. I remember distinctly when we had the 2012 reunion. We brought a couple of bus loads of people there from the hotel, and we had special service there. This is where the remains, this is the second burial place, really the third, of the remains of men who who died during the Battle of Murfreesboro Stones River. And there's a memorial there. You can see part of it over to the left, and the flag there. The flag's a little tattered there. We were able to get up there and repair that, where we could take that flag down and put a new one up. Back about the same weekend as we had that work day at the Sam Davis home, had a donation from a local business that's always supportive of us, supportive of SCV. They're Fair Brothers. They rent a lot of equipment. They loaned us for free a 50-foot lift, and I was able to get up on that thing. I couldn't get anybody else to do it, and got up there and got that repaired at the top so that we can easily change out that flag the next time to honor those men.
Yes, and that's a great service that you have there. I've been to it multiple times because I was a member of Camp 33 for a number of years.
Yes,
and,
you were.
We had, yes, sir, and we would have a great turnout there, and it was a great event. And I'm thrilled that y'all had me as a speaker a time or two, so that's always exciting.
Yes. And you did, as I recall, you did a great job as always. We were there. The last one we have to we meet out there twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it in the summer, and we do it also just after the battle. So early January. And sometimes the weather's a little bit disagreeable then. I think I still remember James Patterson holding the umbrella over Shirley Jones, who many of you will know. She's in our speakers bureau. And so among others, I think we've got over 41 speakers in the speakers bureau now. And
yes.
There are, I think last time I looked, we have 107 different topics that are out there. One of our speakers had shared before our September DEC meeting in Columbia that he had already given 20 talks by September. That's Scott Sally and others. So I was able to develop a new one that I have. Some of the camps have seen the others that I've. Here's me getting ready to give a talk to the Fayetteville camp. The John Massey camp, and that's James Patterson's head. He's probably wondering if I'm going to get everything hooked up to give my presentation that night. So many of us enjoy going around and giving talks, sometimes PowerPoint presentations, sometimes others. And so you can check that out on the Tennessee Division website. Sometimes we'll go out of state. I've been to Athens, Alabama before and given a talk years ago. So some of us, if we say we'll go 2 hours, you might ask us, could you go 3 hours? And we might be able to do that away from where we live. So definitely check that out on the website. That's one of the things that the Education Committee does. We'd like some other tasks too. We're open to suggestions from other states, other divisions about what your Education Committee does. The main thing is we've said that that came out of the national reunion about getting the word out. Made me think of something we say in education circles some, is that if somebody's been given a false narrative about something, and we know a lot of people who have, about why the war between the states was fought and why their ancestors, what role they had. Many people who have Confederate ancestors have been fed this information that's incorrect. In education circles, we say we need to teach them the truth about some things, and that we say that means they need to accommodate to new knowledge. And so that's a part of the process, accommodating to something that's correct. And that, I know that's kind of, that's jargon from college there, but from academics, but still it means something to me. I'm not giving up in that. And I know many of you are with me to keep telling as many people as you can and debating them if they disagree with you about what you know to be true about why our ancestors fought. So the other thing that the education committee does. I don't know how well you'll see this, but I've got what we are now calling our hero cards. This is the one that represents Camp 33. It's DeWitt Smith Job, who's been in the news some, at least in the Tennessee division lately, because unfortunately his home place has been torn down by a contractor, and even the cemetery is in jeopardy. But we're working with a number of people who are state representatives and county historians and such to try to make sure that his grave is protected. He was a Coleman Scout, just like Sam Davis was. He died. He was tortured and killed by Union cavalry along about over on Highway 41A as you go towards Franklin is about where it happened, coming from Murfreesboro. So on the back of each of these cards is a description. We have 50 of these for 50 camps across the state. We also still have sets of these that are available for people to buy. You'll email through the show here or to me or to Sean Hill. We have those shrink wrapped packs of these. We recently took some of them and broke those down. And so I have some, I've given some to Jason to distribute to the camps in his brigade. So they'll have these hero cards to give out in events or to people who might be interested in joining the camp. So finding out more about the SCV. And I have others and a list of these that I got from John Blankenship. I'm going to either mail them to them, some sets that still need to go out, or else those brigade commanders who come to the next DEC meeting in January, I'll hand them to them there so they can get them distributed out to their camps, and keep telling that. So there's some other divisions out there that are interested in these cards too, and we're glad to share information about how we have them made and what we sell them for and that sort of thing. If you are interested in finding that out, but they're something that wasn't my idea, that wasn't original to me. I'll tell you who was original to is Richard Garcia, and he and his wife Tamothy and Sean Hill and I had some long Zoom meetings and such to try to get those as accurate as we could before they were printed.
Yeah, y'all spent a lot of work on that, and I tell you, they're very good. And if you don't have them, and you're interested in them or finding out more about them, email us at scvyouth@gmail.com. Go ahead and send us an email. We'll tell you more about it. If you have any events that are coming up, if you have a flyer for it, or send us some information on it, email it to that email address, and we'll get it out to you. If you have any events that you have done and you want us to know about them, email it to us. Send us the pictures with the names of the people that are on it, and we'll get the information out to you. And what Dr. Murphree has talked about, I still want to keep popping this up about the Sam Davis home. It's something that is very near and dear to my heart, is the Sam Davis home. Before we come on, Dr. Murphree and I were talking, and I think I've been on the board for 10 years, and I think he's been on the board 12 years or better. And I know you've been the president now for 5 years.
I'm working on my 6th year.
Working on the 6th year, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that y'all have enjoyed the show. Dr. Murphree, would you like to say anything else?
Well, not really. I appreciate the opportunity to come on, and I hope to follow. I didn't realize you all had something every day of the week available. So I've been to SCV chat before, and I'm going to make it a point to join in on more of these well thought out events and media that you all have during the week. So thanks again for the invitation, Jason.
Oh, yes, sir. And I thank you. And with that, we'll segue in. I want to remind everybody about the shows on Monday night, our flagship show, SCV Chat. 7 p.m. Central Time. Tuesday night, Tennessee Tuesday. See y'all back here next week, 7 p.m. Central Time. And again, we are on, I want to pop this up again so everybody will know where we are. But we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. And, come on and join us. And you can find Tennessee Tuesday on that. Wednesday nights, Look Around Florida with Sean Fall. He's called him the Florida Man. Thursday night, remember the first Thursday nights, Commander's Comments with Commander-in-Chief Walter D. Donnie Kennedy. That's at 7 p.m. The other Thursday nights, it's Look Around the Confederation. And if you need to have an event going on, and that's where you would send all this information to the SCV Youth Outreach, and we'll make sure that we get it on Look Around the Confederation. Friday nights, we have David Pope with Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman. And then, I didn't mention it, but on Sunday night, Michael Hardy on History. It is 7:30 Central Time. And Michael Hardy is a fantastic speaker. He's written numerous books. He's just a great guy. Join us, because you can see we have something every night but Saturday night. So you can join us at any time for this. I want to thank Dr. Murphree for coming on. In fact, Daniel Santiago said, thank you, Doc, for coming on and talking to us.
You're very welcome.
Want to remind everybody about a few things that are upcoming, and I'm going to pop these back up. We have the Hat and Shoot that is coming up. We have Champ Ferguson. We have the P. Ridge reenactment. We have the Christmas party on December 13th for Bradford Rose. Battle of Kingsport, December 13th. And back at the Sam Davis home on December 6th. We want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to remind you of a couple of national deals that's going on that first weekend in December 5th and 6th. We're having, or SCV is Elm Springs. We have the Murray County Christmas Tour of Homes. Elm Springs has been one of the host sites there for many, many years. I'm one of the docents there. Come on out and you can go to, you can find it on Facebook, do the Murray County Historic Home Tour. We got a number of sites on there, including some churches. And then, of course, you have Elm Springs. You can come and you can get a tour of the house. You'll be able to come inside the museum. And, y'all just come and just want to let everybody know about that. And Dr. Murphree mentioned it. So I want to bring this back up. This is where he was set up at the Forest Boyhood Homecoming, the Boyhood Homecoming. That is always the third Saturday in June. And I encourage you to join us. If you've ever wanted to come to the Nathan Bedford Forest Boyhood Home, that is an opportunity for you to come there. It is owned by the National Sons of Confederate Veterans. The Tennessee Division is doing a tremendous amount of work out there. And we're actually working on building a welcome center. Excuse me. And I'm going to encourage you to, plan on coming out third Saturday in June. Look forward to seeing everybody then. Dr. Murphree, is anything else?
No, I just would again mention the Speakers Bureau, that folks can certainly use that to schedule some of us to come and speak. I had developed a new one. Jason and I were talking about a talk
Yes.
that I have given a couple times now on General Edmund Kirby Smith. And so the reason I got interested in him is because one of my Confederate ancestors from Hickman County basically was in his unit, was shot in the leg and later captured at the Battle of Richmond, Kentucky, and went into a prison camp, but made it home.
Yes.
And so all those stories that come down, his leg never healed. It always weeped because they didn't have antibiotics. And there's a lot of good stories like that that are passed down, just an oral tradition. Everybody knows about those through your family, from those brave men and what they had to do.
Yes. And there's a link for everybody for the Speakers Bureau. If your camp, hey, because we all know I book speakers for our camp, and we know it's tough to get speakers. If you're looking for it, go to TennesseeSCV.org. There's a banner across the top. You can click on it for the Speakers Bureau, and it'll tell you all the people that we have that are available in the Tennessee Division that could come and give talks. And there are some wonderful subjects that's going on in here. And I'm looking right now for Dr. Murphree because he has done several talks, and this is the one that I like the most of one of his that he did, and it is War Horses of the Confederacy. And that was a good talk. He come and gave that at the Sam Watkins Camp 29. And love to have him come back and visit again. And I see, and I've heard and you came and did your talk on B.F. Cheatham for us as well.
I did, yes.
Yes. Insects and Diseases and the War Between the States, and E. Kirby Smith, Army officer, academic, and botanist. Did I say that correctly? Botanist?
You did. Yeah, he's an academic like I am. You know, you have to be kind of suspicious of us folks that work in academia, but I hope I've earned your trust.
Well, and I want to thank everybody that is tuned in tonight. I hope you have enjoyed the show. I again want to thank our very special guest, Dr. Steve Murphree, for coming on and visiting with us. You've given us a mountain of information, and you've provided some very good insight. And I hope everybody has enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed it. And I thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Because I know you had somewhere else you could be tonight.
Well, I did, but that's all right.
Well, and I thank you for coming on, and I do appreciate it. Again, I want to thank all of our sponsors. You know, those that have joined through Patreon. I thank everybody so much for that. And if anybody has anything, you can pop something up in the comments. David Pope said it's a great show, and Al Stidham said it's a great show. And I tell you, Dr. Murphree, thank you for coming on and visiting with us. And let's see, let's make sure I've got everything. There's a whole list of things you're supposed to do when you run this show. And the thing is, they trusted me to do it. Don't you feel sorry for them? They trust me to do it. Let's see. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming on. Let's see. We just had another comment to pipe. Oh, yes. David Daniels wanted to, and I don't know how much of all of this is going to fit on there again. Yes, it is. The Tennessee Society Order of Confederate Rose will be hosting the annual Jefferson Davis Memorial on Sunday, December 7th at 2 p.m. at the Jeff Davis Plaza on the campus of the Southern Heritage Center. That is, the Southern Heritage Center is the name for the entire property, which encompasses the National Confederate Museum and Historic Elm Springs. So we'll be having a memorial service for Jefferson Davis there. And that is, and David Pope, you are right. You write an agenda for everything. I'm one of these people that goes by an agenda as well. If not, I'll go off the rails and I'll run amok, and we'll be doing all kinds of things that we don't need to be doing. Dr. Murphree, again, thank you for coming on, and thank everybody for joining us. Everybody stay Southern and be careful out there. Dr. Murphree?
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.